The difference between how much you know in VARC and how much you're scoring in VARC in your mocks is the attempt strategy, that how you're approaching the VARC paper. What questions are you attempting? How are you attempting them? Which ones are you attempting first or not? This makes all the difference. So even if you're somebody who always felt that, wait a minute, VARC was supposed to be my strength. VARC was supposed to be where I was supposed to maximize your score. Otherwise, if I'm not maximizing my score in VARC, then I'm not going anywhere close to a 99 percentile in CAT. How do I do this? My dear friends, this video which you're watching is the answer to that, because this video is going to take you from whatever score you're scoring in VARC to a good respectable score by maximizing how you attempt the paper, because there is a lot more optimization. अभी आपका बहुत extra score निकल सकता है just by tweaking the way you attempt the paper, and all of that is what I'm going to share with you in this video. If you don't know me yet, I'm Darpan Saxena, an MBA graduate from IIM Udaipur. I have been the MBA Product Head at Career Launcher. I'm the founder of Creatum, and I help MBA students create fulfilling careers without depending on placements. The idea of this entire video is one very simple thing, my dear friends, that when I was an aspirant some 7-8 years back, or even more, I think, then there were these 3 golden tips which I realized. Some of them I realized for myself, some of them I got to learn from somewhere else, and then suddenly the moment I got to know these 3 things, it entirely changed my VARC scores. It changed the complexion of my scores and percentile in VARC. Not just that, it suddenly made me feel more comfortable, more in command of my preparation with VARC. I want to give you that experience with this video. Now, it's a very simple thing. We know this, that the structure of VARC section is that there are 24 questions in it, out of which 16 questions are RCs broken down into 4 RCs and 8 questions in VA. This is the structure which we know, which we are walking into this year's CAT with. Also, we know that the time limit for VARC is 40 minutes. This is something which we know. This is a given. Now, let's step back a little bit and talk about what the core philosophy is which we need to address, because the moment you learn this core philosophy, the first aha will happen right here. The thing is that in whatever limited experience of mocks which you have had up till now, you might have attempted 4 mocks or 5 mocks or 10 mocks or 15 mocks or 20 mocks, I don't know. तुमने जितने भी mocks लिखे हैं उससे तुम्हें एक चीज अभी तक समझ आ गई होगी कि भैया accuracy cannot be guaranteed in VARC, except for obviously the students, the top 1% or the top 0.5% of the toppers of VARC who are walking in with exceptional English and exceptional skills to understand VARC and are always consistently doing a 80 or a 90% accuracy in VARC, except for those who are probably not even watching this video right now, but you are watching this and you know for a fact that accuracy cannot be guaranteed. I talk to so many aspirants each day on my one-to-one calls, and this is one problem which I get, that accuracy is not a given in VARC, because when we're solving the questions, 2 options look very close and we're not very sure about it. यार B है कि C है, and कई दफा होता है that we've marked C, then we go back and we change it to B, and I know that it happens with you. So in that case, you know it for a fact that, and let's agree on this one point basis your analysis of your marks, that yes, accuracy is not a given, which means that, my dear friends, that let's stop over analyzing accuracy and focus on something else which we can do, which we can still solve for, which is maximizing the attempts. This, my dear friends, we're moving towards that first golden tip which I had said, which had changed my perspective completely. That first golden tip is that, my dear friends, you have to, in VARC, you have to move in with the target of attempting all 24 questions, and you have to plan your time accordingly. This is the first golden tip. When one of the seniors which I was speaking to when I was an aspirant, when he gave me this advice, it changed my mind. I was never planning to attempt all 24 questions. I was going कि okay यार, अगर आता है तो करूंगा मार्क, नहीं आता है तो छोड़ देते हैं, देखी जाएगी, कभी नंबर ही नहीं आएंगे. You need somebody to tell you that okay, this is something which you have to do. And okay, if you want to speak to me, go down in the description, find a link. If you want to speak to me one-on-one, you can book a call with me. But the point is, my dear friends, this is the first thing, the first approach, the first attempt strategy, the core philosophy of the attempt strategy is that भैया आप accuracy control कर नहीं सकते, आपको attempts maximize करने पड़ेंगे. attempts maximize मतलब आपको VARC का पेपर ऐसे attempt करना है कि आपको 24 सवाल सारे attempt करके आने हैं. Now on this, while most of the students feel an aha at this at this stage. Some students say क्या बात कर रहे हो, 24 सवाल कैसे हो सकते हैं, आपने भी कभी 24 सवाल करे हैं, मुझे फिर इस किस्म की चीजें वहां पे आती हैं. Now I'll answer it in two parts. The first part is yes, I have attempted, but the second part is it's not just about that. The second part is there is a difference between attempt all 24 questions and target to attempt all 24 questions. इसमें फर्क ये है इन दोनों चीजों में, how do you plan your time? Because when you're not even attempting to target 24 questions, then you're not allocating your time in such a manner that it will allow you to 24. Whereas if you're saying that नहीं यार attempt करना ही नहीं है, तो then you're saying कि ठीक है मैंने करनी है maximum 3 RC करूंगा, तो 3 RC में कर लूंगा अपने हिसाब से, फिर मैं 8 जो उसमें आते हैं सवाल उसमें से मैं करने होते हैं, मतलब मुझे सिर्फ 6. Which brings me to this point, how do you budget your time? This becomes an important point. This is where you will get even more clarity. Now my submission to you is that the moment you realize that okay, this completely makes sense, that my RC attempts, my VARC attempts have to be 24 or close to 24, which means that okay, how do I reach that point? Let's back calculate it, which means that okay, for me to attempt all 24 questions, my time allocation has to be such that I need to give those 4 RCs half an hour. मुझे उन 4 RCs को इज्जत से आधा घंटा देना होगा, वरना मेरी 4 RCs नहीं हो रही हैं, सीधी सी बात है. और मुझे वो 8 VA के questions को I have to accommodate it within the last 10 minutes of the paper. As simple as that. I hope this is the broad framework which we are able to actually understand. And then just for our mental clarity, we need to reach a point wherein we are saying that okay, अगर आधे घंटे में 30 मिनट में 4 RCs होनी है, मतलब लगभग 7.5 मिनट पर RC होना है. और फिर अगर फर्दर if you want some clarity in that, then okay, 7.5 मिनट पर RC का मतलब है कि लगभग 3 मिनट I have to read the RC and 4 minutes I might be having to solve. So लगभग ये, again don't get into such smaller aspect कि 3 मिनट of मतलब reading and 4 मिनट of solving. No, that's not the point. The point is broadly you need to know कि हाँ यार मेरा benchmarking क्या है. वो ये है कि यार मैं हाफ एन आवर से कम तो मैं दे पाऊंगा ही नहीं, फिर तो मेरी होंगी नहीं आरसीज ठीक से, मगर हाफ एन आवर से अगर मैंने ज्यादा दे दिया आरसीज पे, फिर मेरा वीए नहीं हो पाएगा ठीक से. सो द मोस्ट ऑप्टिमाइज ब्रेकअप ऑफ टाइम इज दैट हाफ एन आवर फॉर आरसीज एंड लास्ट 10 मिनट्स फॉर वीए, इन विच 7.5 का ये एक सिंपल सा ब्रेकअप हो जाता है. दैट इज दैट, विच मीन्स दैट लेट्स कम डाउन टू द आरसी अटेम्प्ट स्ट्रेटजी इन दैट केस. एंड द आरसी अटेम्प्ट स्ट्रेटजी इज वन वेरी सिंपल थिंग. सी, one thing which you need to understand in this is that my dear friends, now gone are the days and gone is the mindset wherein you would think that okay, I would do 3 RCs and move to VA. You are wasting 1 RC, and when I'm saying wasting 1 RC, it, you know what I mean to say is that probably you are losing out on a very high ROI, return on investment sort of questions when you leave that RC. And when I talk to my students one-on-one on these interactions, I give them these assignments that okay, in your next mock test you actually experiment one of the strategies which I am actually advising you. They come back, they book a call again, they come back and they speak to me and they say that yes, this worked. And I say that okay, don't come back to me even after just 1 mock, attempt at least 2 mocks, 3 mocks, come back to me after that. That's that. So the thing about RC attempt strategy is one very simple thing. You are starting your VRC paper with RC section. I hope that is clear. I hope we are not going back to the drawing board to speak about that. I've seen so many other educators who speak on this and they say that hey, whether you should attempt RC first or VA first, well, you can attempt whichever you want to attempt, that's absolutely fine. No, that's not fine. My job as an educator is also to prescribe you where you need prescription, and it makes no sense for you to be attempting VA, because then the moment you start off with VA, you will give it more time than it needs. You will end up giving those 8 questions of VA as much as 16 to 20 minutes, and then all you have is 20 रह जाते हैं आपके पास, और उस 20 मिनट में आपकी 3 RC भी नहीं हो पाती हैं. And then you walk out of this with this thought कि अरे तो attempts ही कम हो रहे हैं, तो शायद मेरे क्यों नहीं आ रहे scores. You are not realizing that scores इसलिए नहीं आ रहे because आपकी attempt strategy ही suboptimal है. You are giving a subsection of VA more time than it needs. That's that. Now in RCs, it comes down to a very simple thing, my dear friends. The first point is that you have to attempt all 4 RCs. We know that. Now, it is obvious that for us to build momentum, we need to get a handle on okay, which are the simplest RCs which I can quickly solve, and you solve those ones first. इसमें भी एक nuance है which I usually advise to my students on my paid calls, but I'll give it to you for free here. The third thing is that you have to reach a point in your practice where you're maintaining a rhythm between your reading speed and your comprehension. You cannot lose out on comprehension because you're reading too fast, and neither you can read too slow for the sake of कि यार वो समझ नहीं आ रहा. That's that. इसके लिए क्या करना है? इसके लिए there is a video which I have on which I have reading drills. I've created a video in which I've given a demo exactly that okay, this is how, that here is an RC in front of you, how you're supposed to read that RC. For example, one of the tips which I have shared in that is that please, while reading, don't speak, because the moment you start to speak while you're reading, you are limiting the speed of your reading by the speed of your mouth. So उसमें problem ये होगी, this boy is a very good boy and he went to New Zealand for his vacation and this and that. See, again, you're reading that and your speed of reading and your speed of understanding is limited by your speed of your mouth. Whereas if you read it in your mind, you would be surprised how fast your mind can scan things. Train your mind. You still have a month. That okay. खत्म. इसमें मुंह चलाने की भी कोई जरूरत नहीं थी. ये मैंने अभी यूं सिर्फ इसलिए करा so that I can give you an explanation that I am reading something. The point is, my dear friends, these are some of the things which I've shared in that video. You must watch that. There's a fourth point in this which I will not show you right now. I'll show it to you probably at the end, because this is a nuance of probably how you can arrange and sequence your 4RC. So I will watch this and I'll speak about this at the end. Now again, let's come down to the fact that okay, what are you supposed to do in VA? Because you have to get to a point wherein you're scoring a 98 percentile and 99 percentile in VARC in CAT if you think that is your strength. And it can also, so while I've harped upon the importance of doing your RCs really well and this and that, you are not going to get a good score in VARC by leaving VA. So wo bhi hai. So that is why up till the last 40th minute in your CAT, you have to be on the top of your game in VARC. You have to maximize your attempts. Now when we come to VA, the thing is simple. Obvious सी है इसमें एक चीज that solve the questions you're most sure about and you're most comfortable about first. I have some things to speak on this now, which means it could be anything. It could be the para summary, the para completion, or para jumbles, whichever you think you are fastest to solve in. Or you know, it should not even be that okay, मुझे मालूम है कि मैं para summary जल्दी कर लेता हूँ, तो अब इसलिए mock में भी I will solve that first. No, in this you can also change your strategy on the fly. कि नहीं यार, इस mock में ना para completion वाला क्वेश्चन है सिंपल सा है. I think first I should solve this. So that kind of a mental agility you should have, that okay, within VA I can change my strategy. But usually how it happens is that, and I'm speaking about this first point and this point now, that usually if you see a question which is on PS, a para summary question, if you see, is more like a smaller RC of sorts. So probably one way to approach it and one way to see it is that okay, I am right now in the mood to solve some RCs because abhi I've just solved a lot of RCs. Probably let me do my PS first because that is the kind of zone I am in. So probably that could be faster, or it could be something else for you. For you, it could also be that no, wait a minute, I am tired of solving so many RCs. अब मेरे से RCs नहीं होगा. I need to change my mind to something else. Then sure, then probably this is not what you will be attempting. Again, it depends. If you want to get good in VARC, if you want to reach that point of a 99 or a 98 percentile in VARC, you need to develop a mental agility as well, and that happens through mocks. Also, I'll be speaking about some practice and execution tips as well. The point, my dear friends, is that whatever you do, please make sure you're not wasting your time. And I give this classical example in all of my calls almost whenever we're talking about VARC attempt strategy. For example, I think the worst form of questions on which you can waste your time on in VARC is para jumbles without options. For example, you have this question wherein you have to write down the sequence, and that sequence is 2, 4, 3, 1. What are the chances that when you don't have the options that you will give the sequence exactly as 2, 4, 3, 1 and not 2, 4, 1, 3? Options help you. So again, what I'm trying to say is that please also develop a sense कि यार ये सवाल में ना मुझे वेस्ट करने का ज्यादा कोई सेंस बनता नहीं है. अगर ये एकदम से मेरे से सॉल्व नहीं हो रहा है, I will write whatever answer I have to write and I'll move on because there is probably one more question which could give me a +3. My dear friends, let me give you some execution tips. But okay, यहाँ पे नहीं आता, अभी मैं पहले इस पे आता हूँ. एक पॉइंट मैंने अभी आपको I had not said and the reason why I am sharing this now is because I was speaking to you that within VA, how do you structure things? You have to develop that kind of an intelligence as well. Now जो ये वाली advice है, ये advice I usually give to a student who has spoken to me on a 1-to-1 and we know that okay, अच्छा इसका क्या चल रहा है, इसके क्या attempt strategy है, but again I will give this to you for free. That probably you will reach a stage wherein you're saying that okay, I'm doing RCs very well. I've reached a point where I'm doing 4 RCs, but again वो 4 RC I'm not able to do in exactly half an hour. मुझे थोड़ा extra time हो जा रहा है, क्या करूँ मैं? या फिर sir, I've usually seen मेरे 4th RC में आते ना my span of attention is gone. It's हो गया मेरा, वो मेरे से नहीं होता. And usually my 4th RC is the hardest RC which I've left for the end. Now one nuance in this is that probably you might want to reorder the way you actually attempt your RCs. Instead of leaving the most hardest or the most difficult RC for the last, probably you would want to sandwich it between 2 RCs which are simple for you. So which means that the last RC which you're leaving to solve in that extra hard time pressure is not the hardest RC. Then it is a simpler RC. So you're almost sandwiched the hard RC between 2 simple RCs. अब ये हो सकता है अभी आपको समझ ना आए because probably you've not reached that stage wherein you are seeing that अच्छा 4th RC तक आते आते मेरा स्टैमिना ही नहीं है, और अगर 4th RC वो hardest RC भी है तो भैया मैं तो गया फिर. Again, these are very small ways in which you can increase anywhere from 6 to 9 marks and suddenly you're a rock star in VARC in CAT. Now my dear friends, the final practice and execution tips, 5 things, but all of them are broadly speaking the same things. My dear friends, you have to understand this. Your attempt in VARC is greater than your accuracy. It has to get more importance, and this is only for VARC. The second thing is that it is clear. For you to do anything well in VARC, you have to reach a point of time discipline, as simple as that. The third thing is that in your practice now, which means that you have to practice in a time bound manner and every day, most likely, that you're doing a sprint strategy. And I've said this here, you have to build your speed via sprint drills. What are these? I give this as a classical example that every time you sit down to solve RCs, half an hour, 4 RCs. That is your speed, this thing. On some days, you will only be able to do 2 RCs. On most days, you will be able to do 3 RCs. On some days, you will also reach 4 RCs. But that is how you're preparing your mind, your agility to reach a point where wherein you're able to do 4 RCs, and that's it. And the fifth point is very simple. Familiarize the topics which slow you down, and then you use this strategy to sandwich it probably so that your speed remains good. My dear friends, this was the only thing you ever need to know about attempts strategy in VA. This video can live for the next 5 years as long as the structure of the exam is not planning to change. Agar nahi hua change, then this is the time tested strategy. This works because the fundamentals of this strategy are pretty clear, are pretty aligned to the goals which you have, that bhai I have to score more. मुझे ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा नंबर निकालने यहाँ से, वरना मेरा कुछ नहीं होगा. My dear friends, if you want similar videos on DILR and QA, please let me know in the comments. Do not forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot and goodbye.